Welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to train some glutes.
You melt the ice behind my stone cold eyes. I turn to ashes, but only just sometimes. Inhale your smoke.
Now I just completed my warm-up on the treadmill, and I get it. Sometimes you just want to get your workout finished and get on with your day. And I have those moments sometimes, but if you want to get the most out of your workout, there are some things you can do to make the workouts more effective. One of those things is mobilizing. Even though you've warmed up, the muscle that you're going to be working isn't necessarily warm. So when you mobilize, it's kind of like prepping those muscles for what's coming next. So we're going to do a little bit of mobilization and then activation. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you will see that mobilization is something that I do pretty often. But I don't think I've ever shown activation because I don't always do activation and it's not always necessary. Today, I'm going to be training glutes. Now, most females, not all, there are some lucky few out there, but most females are quad dominant. So it's easier for them to activate their quads. So when they push and they train heavy, they start to see some muscles coming forward here in the front of their legs. But the hamstrings and the glutes, it takes a lot more work. Now, that could be because we spend so much time sitting, we don't do a lot of explosive movements, and so we keep our quads activated, not so much our posterior, not our glutes and not our hamstrings. So when you're going to do glutes, you want to spend some time activating that muscle so that when you start the actual exercises, the muscle is nice and prime and it will be easy to activate it. So I'm going to do some activation. As you see, I'm wearing a slingshot or a very, very tight resistance band. I'm going to come down into a squat where I'm hinging back, pulling it away, and I'm going to do some side walks. All this is putting pressure here on my glutes so that when I start exercising, my glutes, I'm really starting to feel them. Also, you want to keep the band nice and tight and do some pulses, thinking about pushing back, hinging, and feeling the stretch in the glutes. Okay, now the glutes are primed and ready. We're going to start with our first exercise, which is going to be a hip thrust. Now, with a hip thrust, if you can, you want to start with a little bit of a lighter weight. And as you continue into the exercise, increase the weight as you go. So I'm going to start here just to warm up my glutes with weight at 105 pounds. And then we're going to increase the weight as we go on into the exercise. Now you want to drop your hips as low to the floor as you can Come up and squeeze your glutes at the top of the move. Keep your chin tucked to your chest, eyes looking straight ahead as you do this exercise. Now I'm supersetting this exercise with a one leg hip thrust with no weight. So as soon as I take the weight off of my hips, I'm going to go straight back into the same exercise, but have one knee raised towards the ceiling and do 10 on each leg.
You melt the ice behind my stone cold eyes. I turn to ashes, but only just sometimes. Inhale your smoke, but you still act.
Now remember, if your goal is to build your glutes, you need to take adequate rest in between sets. Can't show all the rest, the video would be too long, but do remember to take your adequate rest. Okay, I added 50 pounds, so now set 2, 155.
You melt the ice behind my stone cold eyes. I turn to ashes, but only just sometimes. Inhale your smoke, but you still act surprised. It's not my fault when we end up capsized. You call me crazy now, but you don't understand. I'm calling out to you. Can you hear it then?
On to set 3. I'm at 195 pounds. So going for 10 reps.
I turn to ashes, but only just sometimes. Inhale your smoke, but you still act surprised. It's not my fault when we end up capsized. You call me crazy now, but you don't understand. I'm calling out to you. Can you hear a thing? 'Cause you lit the match that ignites the flame.
So we're going to do our last round of hip thrust. And we're going to do this one at 205.
You melt the ice behind my stone cold eyes. I turn to ashes, but only just sometimes. Inhale your smoke, but you still act surprised. It's not my fault when we end up capsized. You call me crazy now, but you don't understand. I'm calling out to you. Can you hear a thing? 'Cause you lit the match that ignites the flame. I'm the TNT, but you're the spark to blame.
Okay, now we're going to move on to our next exercise. And we're going to be doing a reverse lunge. Now, reverse lunge, all you need to do is step back into the lunge. But I want to do this reverse lunge on a slider. So if you have anything you can slide with, an actual slider, a paper plate, a washcloth, anything like that. The reason why I'm using a slider in this exercise is because I find I go lower when I slide. Now if I go into the reverse lunge, I'm going here, and I can probably go low here. But when I'm on a slider, I feel like you don't have a choice. It kind of pushes you back, and I want that motion as pushing back. So I'm going to have one weight to counterbalance me. And we're going to do reverse lunges with a slider. Okay, our next exercise is going to be a sumo squat, and I'm using a kettlebell for this exercise. Now for sumo squats, you want to stand with your toes turned out, and you want the weight to come directly below you. So you don't want to squat with the weight in front like how you would be holding. You want to bend, you want to hinge, bend your knees and let the weight hit right underneath you. So here we go. Right underneath me is where the weight is hitting for our sumo squats.
Following and slowly exploring what I need. Cause dozens of times I swear that I knew when the wisdom was scanty. Doesn't mean I was broken, so open, I gave until empty.
My next exercise is a hyperextension. Now, anytime I visit a commercial gym and there's a hyperextension machine available, I grab it because I really love that exercise. I do not have one at home, so I'm going to be using a makeshift hyperextension machine. I'm actually going to be using a bench. So you're going to come over the bench, secure your feet, coming up, and squeeze the glutes. Okay, so I'm moving on to a medius exercise. Now, whenever we're thinking about our glutes, we usually only think about the maximus, the big fleshy area here. But our glutes are actually divided into three muscles. We have the gluteus maximus, the gluteus medius, and the gluteus minimus. Now, if you look at my body, well, maybe from this angle, you can see a kind of a slope in here. My gluteus medius is not well developed. So I like to spend some time focusing on building up this muscle here so your glutes have a more rounded, fuller appearance. So the next exercise is going to be called a gluteus medius. So I'm using a 15-pound, resting it against my leg, and I'm lifting up and coming down. Lifting. Anytime you kind of abduct, you're hitting the gluteus medius. So don't neglect abduction exercises whenever you're training your glutes. As you know, if you've been following my videos, I practice handstands when I finish my workout because it's something I'm trying to become good at, but that's not part of my workout. I'm actually finished today's workout. I'm finished working on my glutes. I'm finished working on my side glute, and I feel pretty good about today's workout. I'm going to do a little bit of stretching, but I want to encourage you before I go to decide on the goal that you want to reach, commit to it and you will be successful. Happy training.